All right, gang. We're here for Java, right? Everybody's in the right classroom? I am too? Okay, cool deal. I'll take roll in a little bit. Always have some stragglers come in. So, welcome to Introduction to Java Programming. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump straight to the syllabus, but then I'm going to do a lot of talking in and around it. We're going to kind of weave into the syllabus. I'm going to say things that aren't in it and all that. So if you want the syllabus, that's kind of a bad name for it. I need to pick a better name for it. Syllabus would have been a good one. Click on the start here and go there, or go to Course Tools, Content, start here, and you'll see the syllabus right there. Why in the world does it look that lousy? Why don't we fix its name? So if you've had me before, how many people have had me before? Other classes? Alrighty, a goodly number of y'all. Y'all are going to be kind of bored because you've been in my classes, you pretty much know my policies. I apologize for that. We're going to go through the syllabus, and then towards the end of the class, we're going to pop open NetBeans, the Java development tool we're going to use, and work from there. Do a little bit of programming. We're going to upload it. That'll be the end of the work today. So, syllabus. Probably get out early. It'll be the only day in which we actually get out early. So I mention this every time I show it, but the little preview that D2L gives is a pretty lousy preview. It works okay for PDF files, but when it's time to open the PowerPoints, you're going to want to actually download the PowerPoints. Its PowerPoint preview is really lousy. So you just scroll down to the bottom of the page, click download, and then open it. However, your preferred browser supports. That looks like the complete wrong syllabus. Am I even in the right class? Intro to Java Programming. That looks like a Python syllabus. That is not good. All right, I'm going to pause the recording because that... All right, so for today's in-portion class, we're just going to create a simple program. But I'm going to introduce you to NetBeans. Very simple introduction to NetBeans. So how do we launch NetBeans? NetBeans is the Java development tool that we use. We click the Start menu, and you type in NetBeans, and it says NetBeans IDE. After you launch it, you may as well, dock it to the toolbar down at the bottom. Just right-click and pin this program to the taskbar. That way it's always there. One thing I need to note is that this shows a huge number of assignments here. We're not going to be doing this many assignments. I've been teaching this class for about 8 years, and I've slowly amassed a huge number of assignments. I'm going to go through and remove all the assignments, and we're just going to open them up one by one. But that's why they say pending. You're not going to do anything that's in a pending location. Pending homework, pending assignments. So, you do have a homework assignment that I'm going to give a due date on, which is to install NetBeans. Install Java and install NetBeans on your home computer. If you're not going to do that, upload a note that says, no, I'm going to be doing my homework at school. Thanks for asking. Pardon me?
Is there a Word document attached telling us how to do it?
Right, a Word document, just upload that.
No, I mean, is there a Word document attached to that telling us how to...
Yeah, absolutely. I will attach a Word document telling you where to go to get the file. And I apologize for it not being there already. I can go find it right now. Click Course Home, D2L, or if you're already there, refresh it, because now the link to go and install Java is there. It's the top item. To get the Java 8, they keep adding things to it over the years. They're currently at Java 8. We're going to be using the newest version of Java. JDK stands for Java Development Kit. And NetBeans. Go to this link. You'll find Linux versions of it, Mac versions of it, Windows versions. You got to be able to figure out which one you want, download and install it. If you get stuck, let me know. So the due date for that is going to be Monday night. Let's go ahead and tag that with our due date. So essentially a week. All right. So once you get NetBeans launched, the way we create a project is with File, New Project. And when you do this, it's going to create it wherever it wants to. But you can change the default location of it, of where these files are stored. We may work with that just a little bit. So the first thing you do, I'm sorry this type is so small. I really can't do much about that. I can change the size of the code that I'm entering now. We're going to want to choose Java and Java application. That's pretty much what we're always going to do. Java and Java application. Then click Next. It's going to want to know the name of our project. Stop it. Then I'm just going to type in August 22, 2017, because it's our first day. Down here where it says Create Main Class, yes, you want to do that. You want to leave that where it is. But you see here, project location, you can change where these projects are stored. If you don't change it, you better just memorize that path. T, users, documents, NetBeans projects. Gonna have to remember that, and eventually you'll probably want to put that in your favorites so it's easy to find. But you can change it. You can browse and you can find a different folder. I think just for simplicity's sake, so that y'all are all seeing the exact same thing I am, I'm not going to change it. But that's usually the first thing I do when I sit here with a new version of NetBeans. So it won't be nested in deeply as in subdirectories. Okay, then you click Finish. Here is some Java code. And I'll zoom in just a second. And here is the Project Explorer. Now there's not a lot to explore right now because there's only one .java file in it. .java being the source code file. Let me zoom in now. Tools, Options, Fonts and Colors, Monospace 13, no thanks. I'd like for it to be a lot larger, thank you. Maybe that'd be big enough. If this is hard to read, let me know. If I can't make it any bigger, come sit closer. All right, so looking at this, we see a couple of things. We see this is going to look completely alien to those who have only done Python programming or whatever. But some of it's going to look the same. These are what are known as comments. Comments are stuff that the language ignores. You could put anything in here you wanted to. I hate Java with a passion. You know, whatever. It's not going to care. It's not part of the program. It's like just putting, you know, little marks, you know, words. It's like you have a textbook, you know, and you're highlighting and you're making notes on the side. That's all that the comments are. Then there's this word package. The package, we're going to ignore what that does for now, but it's the subdirectory of the project in which your file is found. If you want to, you could delete that line, but then you're going to get an error and you'll have to fix it. So just leave it alone for now. Then there's this word, public class. A class is a collection of code. If you've ever done C, C++ programming, you've heard of the main method. Well, this has a main function as well. All of our code in the early days that we write are going to go inside this main function. But you have to have the rest of this. Now, those of y'all who are being taught by professors who don't use NetBeans, that make you, you know, just fire up a text editor, TextPad, Notepad Pro, whatever, have to memorize all this stuff. You have to memorize the words public class, public static void main, or whatever. You ought to memorize it anyways. But using the IDE, using NetBeans, it does fill in all this boilerplate stuff for us, which is kind of nice. I'm going to delete some of these comments. I'm going to take out everything that had the comments except for the top lines. The top lines I instead am going to replace with my own name, the date, and a description of what the program does. First day program, hello world. Something like that. Now there's more than one type of comment. This is what's known as a multi-line comment. A single line comment is just like what y'all have used in the Python classes, except instead of being a hashtag, it's // and it's a / underneath a question mark. I'm going to take this block up here, this multi-line comment, and convert it to be all single line comments, just because I want y'all to get used to doing single line comments. All right, this is what's known as a comment block, or a comment header block. I want you to include one of these in every program you write. Just put your name, some kind of date, description of what it is, homework 3, this is my sorting algorithm, something like that. Also, we're going to get to the point where we're writing our own functions, and you're going to want to put some comments there explaining what those functions are. All we have is a main function, so we're not going to need that yet. Something to note is that when, can y'all in the back see this? Is this good enough?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. You'll notice that it created it with the brace here and here. You Python programmers have not seen these braces before. Everything was just done with indents, and the indents had to be exact or it wouldn't work. Here the indents don't matter, but the braces are really important. I'm just going to type a line of code. You don't even have to type this. Oh yeah, why not? String name is equal to, and then put your name there. Snoopy, whatever, you know. Now this is tacky. This is ungood. Once you have a brace, you should start indenting. It should be indented like that. It should be tabbed over. You're familiar with doing that, you Python programmers. But you don't have to anymore. You can totally mess up the syntax of it, I mean the spacing of it if you want, and it's still going to work. The reason why is because this language and a lot of others, which are known as the C family of languages, C++, C#, JavaScript, a lot of languages use these curly braces to denote levels of where the program goes. They create blocks of code. We're going to create one block of code inside this main function, this main method. Okay, so we have what's known as a variable. That's a variable. Variable is, some of you fundamental students, tell me what a variable is. It's going to be a long class if nobody tells me. You just sat through it in the last class. You better tell me. All right. Variable is a named place in memory that contains a value. And I'm going to get a little bit more specific, and I'm going to be saying this again and again. A variable has 3 components. It's got a name, it's got a type, and it's got a value. So, this variable does have a name. The name of that variable is name. Sorry, maybe I should have chosen a different variable, you know, age. Let's create another one called age right underneath it. So move your cursor back up here, hit enter. It's not tabbed over, unfortunately, so I'm going to tab it myself. If your code isn't tabbed properly, it's not like I'm going to count you off, but if you ask for help, I'm going to come over there and I'm going to tab it for you. And then your face is going to burn red with shame, so don't do that. Age is equal to 32. Okay, so now we have 2 variables. The name of this one is name. The name of this one is age. So that's the variable name. Then the type. The type dictates what kind of data is stored in it. And you guys who've done scripting languages, the type was just kind of implied. All you had to do is, you know, temperature equals 98. And that would know, okay, temperature is a numeric value. Or, you know, month is equal to January. It would know, okay, month is a string that contains the word January. That doesn't work in these more strictly typed languages. In these languages, you have to declare your variables before you can use them, and you set a type. So before I could even use the word name, I had to say string. Before I could even use age, I had to say int. Now there's more types than just strings and ints. I'm going to give you an example of one that wouldn't work. Color. Color is equal to blue. That doesn't work because color does not have a type. It's only got two of these three things. We have to give it a type. And what kind of data type is something that's surrounded by quotes? Yeah, it's a string, just like that one. In C++, you don't capitalize string. In this language, you do. Sorry for those of y'all who are going to be coming, right back to do C++. It's a little bit different. All right, so now we have three variables. When you create a variable, you don't have to assign it a value. What do I mean by that? I could just do int x and not even give x a value. That is what's known as an uninitialized variable. It doesn't contain a value yet. It's not a syntax error like it was when we typed color in without the word string, but it doesn't work. Speaking of syntax errors, I'm going to remove that word string from it, and then I'm going to try to get this program to run. You see the little hammer with the broom? Clean and build project? Click that. And then down here, it gives us the error indicator. It gives us a whole bunch of information as it's trying to compile. Compile means, translate this English-like text into machine code. And then finally it hits an error. You scroll left and right, you find the error, and it says, cannot find symbol color. Okay, that's really cryptic. What symbol are we looking for? You realize eventually that that just says that you are trying to use a variable that hasn't been created yet. And it gives you the line number on it, hopefully. There it is. This is the file name. That's the line number. So you come over here, you find line 12. If you're using an IDE, it's even easier to spot the errors because they have these little red marks. Over here in the scroll bar, you can zoom right in on your errors. And it indicates it right there too. You don't get all that stuff if you're just using a text editor. Even if you're using idle in your Python class, it doesn't put red dots, it doesn't highlight your errors. So I'm going to add the word string back because otherwise it's just not going to compile. That's an example of a syntax error where I would give you a 0 on the assignment because I couldn't run it. Now I can hit the broom, the build, which you can also get up here under run. You can choose clean and build under the run menu. It just does the same thing. All right, so it churns and it churns and it churns, and it tells you at the end, building jar. A jar is a Java archive file. It's got your application tucked away in it. We don't really care about the jar file, but it tells you if you want to run it, here's the command line that you would have to enter. You don't have to do this. You don't have to go over here, pop open a command prompt, paste that into it or anything like that. Instead, we just click the green arrow. All right, it didn't do anything. It did. It created 3 variables, but it doesn't have any input going on. It doesn't have any output going on. So there's nothing to display. So that's why it said run, build successful. It took 0 seconds to run it. Well, it didn't have anything to do. So we're going to add some output to our program. In other languages, don't type this because it's not going to work. You could just do this, print name, comma, is cool, and it would print out your name followed by the words is cool. Unfortunately, in this language, you actually have to type a lot just to get a simple print statement go. Simple print. You have to type this in, and you have to get the case exactly right. This is why we no longer teach introductory programming with Java, because it's so picky. System, with a capital S, dot, and notice that the editor then popped up all this stuff. PRINT, LN, that's an LN, not a 1N, print line, and I've already goofed up, excuse me, system dot OUT dot print line, And let's print their name out. Also with the word hello. So inside the parentheses, so print line, parentheses, quote, hello, comma, followed by an end quote, followed by a plus sign, and then the variable name. Significantly different than you were doing in Python. One difference is you weren't using the plus sign in Python. You were just separating everything with commas. Another difference is that the print line does not automatically space things out with spaces between them. So that's why you saw me put the space here. If I left the space out, it would put the name right after the comma without any spaces. And then further, this is, quite a lot to have to type just to get a single print, a message on the screen. But you get used to it. We could analyze what the different things are, but right now just know that print line is the function. System is the package. So you'll see a lot of times when you type in something dot something. All right, I'm going to compile it. Hammer and I know how to fix that. Turn you off. Okay. Then I run it. Down here in my little output window, it says, hello, Snoopy. Let's add another print statement. I want you to add a print statement that will print out the message, your color is, and if you made your color blue, I want it to look like that, except I want it to use the variable name. So create a print line statement that prints out the words, your color is, followed by the variable that would print their color out. And I'll type it up here, in just a minute, but I want to give you all a shot at it too.
Did you print out what you had so far so I can catch up?
I need to scroll up, sure.
Oh, it's just saying, can you just print it on a piece of paper and I can catch up because I don't have any of it.
Oh, okay, yeah. However, do know that all of this stuff that we typed in was just in the main function. The rest of it should be created when you do File New.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, who got it working? It's okay if you didn't. I'm going to give you all the answer in just a sec. Alrighty. So, we wanted it to print out your color as whatever. So it's going to be another system.out, system.out.println, quote, your color is. Now notice it's already filled in stuff. It's put the close quote, it's put the parentheses, it's put the semicolon. That's part of what an IDE, an Intelligent Development Environment, does, or Integrated Development Environment, sorry. Now, your color is plus the color. Go ahead and compile and run it. You know how to do that now. I'm going to call it compile, but the real term in Java is build. But behind the scenes, when you choose build, what it does is it compiles it into a certain kind of code, which we will talk about at a certain point, and then that code is run by Java. I'm not seeing my output because I minimized the window. There it goes. Hello, Snoopy. Your color is blue. What did I do wrong there? Yeah, I just needed to put a space here. I pretended I was a Java programmer and forgot the space. All right, and that's really about as far as I want to take us today. You've seen how to open up NetBeans. You've seen how to make a new project. Let's just walk through that again. Create an empty project. We're not going to even do anything with it. File, new project. Pick Java, Java application. Let's just call this one Hello World. I'm going to leave this thing selected where it says create main class. I'm going to let it finish. And now it has created a new project. If you look on the side here now, you see that there's one project with our original name. You can minimize that if you don't want to see it. And then there's another one that says Hello World. As we go on, you're going to get more and more projects here. If you get tired of looking at the old ones, you can do right-click, close project, whatever, you know. So now we're editing Hello World. Notice the old one is still here, that August 22, whatever. I'm going to close that. Things get real confusing if you have more Java files open. So I'm going to close that. All right, this one's going to be easy. All it's going to do is print the message Hello World. System.out.println Hello World. That's the classical program that all programming books, you know, C++ going all the way back to 1970 have had you do. Is create a Hello World application. Why? Because you learn a lot about it just in the way it looks. If you're taking C++, it looks completely different. It's something like this. Don't type this. Quite a bit different. And if you're doing Python, it looks like this. Again, quite a bit different. Okay. Get rid of all that, build it, run it. All right, now we want to upload this stuff to the Dropbox. Safest thing to do is just to quit NetBeans entirely so that nothing is open. All right, I'm going to change the due date of this pending, and I'm going to move it to a new category called due in class. Give it today's date. And it sent it down at the bottom. Let me bring that folder up to the top. Alright, if you refresh the Dropbox by whatever means, either clicking Dropbox under Course Tools or just clicking the refresh button, you should see something that says Due in Class. Click that. We're going to submit a file. And I know all of y'all know how to do this, but I'm working through it anyways, especially for the benefit of anybody who comes back and watches this video. Okay. So I'm going to go into Hello World. I'm going to click Add File. Then I'm going to click Upload. And I'm going to go and find where NetBeans has been storing its documents, its files. Hopefully it's under Documents. So I'm going to click Documents under Libraries. I see NetBeans projects. Excellent. I double click NetBeans and I see my two projects. Now you can't just click a project and click Upload. That doesn't work. You either have to find one specific file, and I'm going to do that for Hello World. And then for the August 22nd, I'm going to show you how to zip them. So we're going to actually upload two files. The first one's just going to be a Java file. So pick one of these projects, and if you only created one, that's okay. You can just follow the same process. Double click on the project, and then you see some other things, including a folder called Source. Double click on that, and then you'll see the name of the package. Double click on that. Okay, this is annoying. I did something wrong when I was creating it for it to be embedded that deeply. If you keep clicking on it, you'll eventually get to the .java file. But I'm going to add another one. So again, I'm going to go into Documents, NetBeans, and you see this, the other one, the the Hello World one. You can just right-click on it if you're using a PC. On the Mac, you can't do this while you're editing it. You have to create the zip file beforehand. And then do Send to Compressed Folder. What that does is it creates a zip file that's got the entire folder structure, the .java file and everything else that's in here. So you can get the whole shebang by doing that right click on the folder and doing Send to Compressed Zip Folder. That makes a zip file to upload, and you can just select that zip, and it gives me the entire structure. You feel safer doing that, that's fine. If you can find the .java file and upload that individually, that's also fine. Then you have to click Add and then Submit. If you miss a submit step, it's not saved. It's like adding an email attachment, but you didn't actually send it yet. So add, if you're doing this at home and you have giant files, it might take longer than that, but you know, Java files are actually pretty small. You're never going to have a problem with that. And then you're going to click Submit, file upload, results. Okay, so good job, we're all done. So I'll put a Word doc inside the install NetBeans and get ready. You can also find the path to it just in the news on the front page. And like I said, if you're not going to install NetBeans, just create a document, a Word doc or whatever, and upload it to me saying that instead you're going to do all your work at school, which I don't recommend. All right.
The text document saying, well, I mean, just the notepad document.
For which part? I'm sorry.
No, for telling you that we've installed it.
Yeah, it can be a text file. You know, you can make a Windows Paint file, whatever. Yeah. All right. Are there any other questions? Yes, sir.
Finding budget.
Okay. I'll come back there and help you with that. Are there any others? Then most of y'all I will see on Thursday. A couple of y'all I will see in just 18 more minutes. The 8:30 class. Same room, I believe.